What if writing was never invented? A world without words. Imagine a world where history wasn't written down, where every discovery, every law, every story lived only in memory. A world with no books, no scrolls, no contracts, and no maps, where the foundation of civilization was built on spoken words alone. How would humanity have evolved without the ability to write? Would we still have built empires, advanced technology, or even explored the stars? Let's dive into an alternate timeline where the power of writing never existed and everything relied on the fragile thread of human memory. Writing is often called the cornerstone of civilization. First emerging in ancient Mesopotamia around 3100 BCE, writing systems like cuneiform allowed humanity to record events, laws, and trade transactions. Egyptian hieroglyphs, Chinese characters, and the Phoenician alphabet followed, each revolutionizing the way humans preserved knowledge. Writing enabled societies to grow beyond oral traditions, creating shared histories, organizing complex governments, and fostering technological progress. But what if this foundation had never been laid? In this alternate world, humanity would rely entirely on oral tradition. Stories, laws, and scientific discoveries would be passed down through word of mouth. While oral traditions can preserve culture and values, they are inherently fragile. Over time, stories change, details fade, and misinformation can spread. For example, imagine trying to teach geometry or anatomy without diagrams or written instructions. Knowledge would be limited to what each individual could personally remember and communicate. Without writing, history as we know it wouldn't exist. Civilizations like Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Rome left behind records that give us insights into their laws, wars, and achievements. Without those records, we might not even know they existed. Key events, such as the rise of empires or the discoveries of great thinkers like Archimedes or Pythagoras, would be lost to time. Oral histories might preserve fragments, but the detailed timelines and depth of understanding we rely on today would be impossible to achieve. The technological progress would slow dramatically without writing. Imagine trying to advance mathematics, medicine, or engineering without the ability to document experiments or share findings across generations. Each new discovery would be limited to local use, forgotten once the discoverer passed away. For instance, Hero of Alexandria invented an early steam engine in the 1st century CE. If his knowledge had been recorded, it could have sparked an industrial revolution nearly 2 millennia earlier. In this alternate world, such innovations would likely vanish into obscurity. Global trade and communication would face enormous challenges. Without written contracts or ledgers, large-scale trade would be nearly impossible. Maps, navigational charts, and treaties, all critical to the growth of empires and globalization, would be absent. Imagine explorers like Christopher Columbus or Marco Polo trying to navigate uncharted territories without maps or written accounts of their journeys. The idea of a globalized world might never come to fruition, leaving humanity isolated in small, disconnected communities. How would governments function in a world without writing? Laws would have to be memorized and recited, which would create inconsistencies and leave room for manipulation. Justice systems might rely heavily on tradition and word-of-mouth agreements, making fairness and accountability nearly impossible to maintain. The concept of bureaucracy, which relies on written records, would be non-existent, limiting the scale of governance and likely confining societies to smaller tribal structures. Education would take on a completely different form. Schools as we know them wouldn't exist. Instead, knowledge would be passed down through oral instruction and demonstration. Memorization would be the primary focus, with knowledge limited to what a person could recall. This would favor individuals with exceptional memory, concentrating knowledge among an elite few and leaving the broader population less informed. Complex subjects like mathematics, science, and engineering might remain inaccessible to most people. Culturally, the lack of writing would reshape how humans create and share stories. There would be no novels, no written music, no scripts for plays or movies. Stories would exist only as spoken tales passed from one generation to the next. While this might lead to a richer oral storytelling tradition, it would also mean constant changes and the loss of original narratives. Classics like the Iliad or the Odyssey might exist only in fragmented, ever-changing forms. Art, music, and theatre might dominate as primary forms of cultural expression, with creativity channeled through performance rather than preservation. In the absence of writing, humanity might have developed alternative methods to preserve and share knowledge. Perhaps symbols, art, or even early forms of multimedia could emerge as substitutes. For example, cave paintings or carvings could evolve into complex visual languages, though they would still lack the precision and detail of written scripts. Could advanced oral traditions combined with symbolic art serve as humanity's primary way of recording history and sharing ideas? One of the greatest challenges of a world without writing would be the fragility of progress. Knowledge passed down orally is vulnerable to distortion and loss. A single generation's failure to memorize and share key information could erase centuries of advancements. Without a way to reliably store and build upon knowledge, humanity would face constant setbacks, never reaching the technological heights we know today. However, this alternate world might also have unexpected benefits. Without writing, would humanity be more connected to oral traditions and interpersonal communication? Could the absence of written records reduce conflicts over historical disputes, fostering a more harmonious society, or would the lack of accountability and shared knowledge lead to chaos and stagnation? A world without writing would be a world of immense challenges and limitations. A world where memory is both a gift and a curse. Civilization, as we know it, would be unrecognizable, with history, science, and culture far more fragile and fragmented. But perhaps humanity would find other ways to innovate, relying on oral traditions, art, and performance to preserve its legacy. What do you think? Would humanity have thrived in a world without writing, or would we still be struggling to emerge from the shadows of the past? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more alternate history content. Until next time, keep questioning the past and imagining the future.